Hello YouTube, I'm David with the David West channel. Well, today I wanted to show you my favorite knife of all, and it's the Old Hickory butcher knife. It's what I started off with at the very beginning. It's not a very glamorous knife. I think it only cost me $13, and I ordered it from my local Ace Hardware, and they got it in for me. But it is my favorite. So this is way back at the beginning, before I knew how to bow drill, before I knew how to do anything. I wasn't even using flint and steel back then. It took me a couple years before I ever even went to flint and steel. But first thing I did when I got it was I was batoning wood and breaking it down and stuff, and those little brass rivets in there couldn't take it. First thing I did was shear those brass rivets off, or one side, the side that had the brad. Sheared that off, and my scales fell off. So I just lined I think it's 3. I just lined the 3 pins, brass pins back up and taped it back over with black tape. And when that black tape got ratty, I had some green tape. I put green tape on it. Let me show you how much wear is on this particular knife. We'll compare it to this one. Here's one that I had John Capps make for me. And this is a great knife too. He did a great job on this sheath. I told him I wanted a no retention sheath. And he added a little Ferro Rod on the side. And this has been a great Old Hickory butcher knife. But let me bring both of them up close to you. Look at that spine. I mean, I have driven some sparks off of that thing and scraped a lot of wood. Now, I'm not recommending that people get this because it's a poor whittler. If you have a lot of whittling to do, even just the whittling that it takes to make like a bow drill set, hand fatigue sets in pretty quickly. So it's not a whittler, but everything else I highly recommend it. It's a great knife. So let's go ahead and put it through its paces and see if the old boy's still got something left in it. Just your regular loblolly pine needles, and I just take and buff them up between my hands. Try to get some fines, some little hairs and some fines for those sparks to catch on. And so that's what I end up with. Lots of little fines in there. Little keychain ferro rod that I glued a paneling nail in. It's a 5/16 by 3 1/8. Let's go ahead and square that spine up. Alright, like I told you before, if you use a side grinder to sharpen the 90-degree spine on your knife, you need to make sure that you replace the cord on your grinder. You need to make sure that you use a good drop cord. You can't use this drop cord. You have to screw the handle back in. You have to put the guard back on. You'll have to wear some gloves on your hands, hearing protection. You need a ground fault circuit interrupter. You're going to need goggles on. You're going to need a face shield on. And I think I already mentioned earplugs, hearing protection. And you'd better know where the MSDS, the material safety data sheets, are at for this particular grinding wheel. If you don't have all that, then you better use a file. I still have damp pine needles. You'll be able to see that by the way they ignite and burn. You shouldn't have to baby them like that to get them to burn. Now here's the one that we roughed up on that close-up. Never seen fireproof pine needles before. Take my earplugs out.
Mine does not. These pine needles do not want to burn. Hold on. Let's try that. Fireproof pine needles.
Right up, go right back out. All right. And in case that didn't convince you what a great scraper that was, what did I do with it? And this has been out in the daily rain we've been having too. Every day it's after 6 or 7 o'clock it starts to rain. Now, let's try some of that heartwood. So I got some scrapings and some feathers and some shavings. Let's see how they do. Now what I like to do is to get down here where all the fine stuff is at, and then have a couple other fine ones pulled out that I can put on top of the flame that pops up right here. So I'll put these right over here. And try to nurse the flame that we get out of this finer stuff, the shavings and all. I mean the scrapings. And like I say, we've been getting rain every single evening. This poplar's been right out in it. So I got mosquitoes biting me even though I've got mosquito spray on. All right. like for it to get more established than that before I rake it into the stove. Let's go ahead and try Ferro Roll with it. Well, my table is damp right there. Let's try it right here. I didn't think about that. All right, it is 6 hours later. I had to take a break, and if you can see the table, our evening thunderstorm has passed through pretty quickly. So let's pick up where we left off. I'd like to do a Ferro Roll and do a couple of flint and steel type ignitions with the knife as a steel, rather than trying to use those hard to light pine needles. Let's just use paper for our tinder bundle. And we'll put it right up here in my shirt pocket. See if we can make it happen this time. You're going to just keep on rolling it until you see smoke coming out of it. You don't want to roll it a few times and then start tearing it apart thinking you're going to be able to get oxygen to get to the center. You keep rolling it until you see smoke emanating out of it. See a little smoke. We'll watch it come through that brown area right there. And we want to utilize this lower part here. It's really tight. And if I loosen that tight part up, I'll have more heat to try to ignite my paper. The paper was supposed to be faster, wasn't it? I wouldn't say it was faster. It will be faster when we start using char cloth though. Tear some slits in it because that gives us a few more edges for those sparks to get caught up in. And a good sharp piece of flint. Let's give it a try. And it's not flint. This is that chert that I bought at the flea market. 6 pieces for $5. I like to go ahead and spread the ember before I put it in the paper. Now you might say that's just a waste of heat. Why not be building up the ember while it's in the paper It just works faster when you intensify and spread that ember out. Now let's try it one more time with the quartz. So, a great knife. Don't buy an Old Hickory if you plan on doing a lot of whittling, but if you want to practice doing everything else, it is a great knife to buy. It'll be with you for the rest of your life. All right, y'all. I appreciate you joining me on this one. We'll catch you on the next one.